Do you ever feel like you're at your wits' end? Maybe you feel overwhelmed, exhausted, confused, frustrated. You feel like you've given everything you can to whatever it might be in this situation in life, and you just don't know what to do anymore. I've been there myself many, many times. I want to talk with you about some ideas, some insights to help you through this season and really help you get on the other side of it. Now, if you and I have not yet, my name is Troy. My goal is to help you in life. And I really believe that your life, my life, is defined not by the things that we accomplish necessarily at all. It's more defined by what we go through and how we go through them. Essentially, can you stay present? Can you stay grateful? Can you stay grounded? Can you stay aware through the challenges in life? And you really have to take a step back when you're in the season of difficulty, a season of suffering, a season of challenge, and look at the bigger picture, because you might be looking at the surface level of things. Maybe you don't have something you're trying to move towards. Maybe you lost someone or something. Maybe you were betrayed. Maybe your heart's broken right now. And that's all fair. That's valid. Your emotions are very valid. But what I would encourage you also to do is to look at this from like a topical standpoint and ask the questions. Who do I have to become through this season of my life? What is the lesson I can extract from this? And ask yourself, maybe there's a deeper spiritual lesson through this. Maybe God, the universe, source is calling you to realize something about yourself, something about life, and something about the bigger picture of all. And so when we do that, it can kind of take us out of that suffering paradigm a little bit and more into a growth paradigm. And ultimately, what you'll want to do as you move through these seasons is really come to accept what has taken place. It's kind of like the first step. Like, this is my reality. Let me accept it. As challenging as it is, as painful as it is right now, we have to find acceptance. Because until you can find acceptance, you can't see from a certain vantage point. It's like kind of putting on the glasses and going, wait a second, let me look at this a little bit differently now. Before this, it was blurry. It's out of focus. I couldn't see. But with these new glasses of acceptance, you kind of look at everything as it is. Wow, here's the lay of the land. This has taken place. This has happened. There's a wreck over here. There's a piece of me over here. There's a broken heart laying back there, whatever it is. You kind of take a look at everything around you. And then you can start to extract from it. You can start to evolve and start to change. Because before that, it's too easy to fall in the victim frame. The victim frame is, this has happened to me. What we want to do is move into the frame of, this is happening for me. You can't get that lesson, that energy, until you've accepted your reality. Once you accept your reality, then you can move into gratitude. Okay, look at what is okay in my life. I'm still here. This person's still here. They're healthy. This is going on. Whatever it is, there's a lot to be grateful for. It could be a lot worse. It could look like this. It could look like that. And so once we kind of accept, we find gratitude, then we can start to move forward. And those are the two most fundamental important things. If we can't do that, we're going to be stuck in the victim frame. And if you don't have the strength yet to do that, that's okay too. Make that your goal is to get to those places, to understand and feel that energy. Now, I wonder, throughout time, how many people, if they would have quit when things got really challenging, what would our life look like that right now? What would our realities look like right now? And also, maybe some people who did quit, what if they didn't? What might reality look like right now? Like, one person that comes to mind just off the top of the head is Abraham Lincoln. And if I wasn't there, I don't fully know Abe, but from what I hear is Abe failed his way to success. Like, he basically had no victories. Like, he had a business that he lost early on. 4 out of his 5 sons passed away, I believe, or children passed away. He basically lost almost every election he was in until the presidential election. Now, when you look at that, like, damn, like, that dude went through some shit. Like, it would have been really easy to just quit or to give up on the dream, give up on his desires. But the reality was, as Abraham Lincoln kept moving through these things, I'm sure he kept realizing and understanding deeper parts of himself. I'm assuming it brought him closer to God through this. I'm assuming it opened parts of himself he never knew existed before. And that's what it means to be etched in stone, to be crafted through the fire, to be sharpened like a diamond. Is you allow the friction to take place. And you don't resist it. You don't fight it. You let go. And so that's what we have to eventually do, is we have to sometimes break down before we have the breakthrough. This last weekend, there's kind of a cycle, and I'll share this story in a second, but there's kind of a cycle that takes place when you're going through challenging times. It often feels like an increase in anxiety. So maybe it's just kind of gradually carrying more and more and more anxiety. And for some of us, we're not really attuned to what anxiety feels like. And so we carry this anxiety more and more. Then we start to distract. Drugs, alcohol, whatever, sex, pornography, could be a number of things. And there's no judgment there. It's just kind of a pattern, right? That's what takes place, numbing behaviors. But when you start to become more connected to your anxiety, you realize it's just an energy. And this energy is trying to get your attention. And it tends to increase the volume until you finally tune in. And you ask your anxiety, oh, I hear you. What's going on? Because there's a message there. And when that takes place, you have this anxiety spike. And then typically what I find is it's hard for us to kind of tune in. And when we finally do, it either breaks through, breaks us down, or we tune into it. And then there's usually like this drop, an emotional release. Maybe it's crying, yelling, screaming, anger, whatever it is. Emotions finally come out because that's what's been kind of building up. It's welling up. It's in the dam. It's stuck. It's filling up, and it finally breaks through. And then after the breakthrough, there's a big release. And then there's a fatigue because you have emotional exercise. It's a very real thing. You might kind of reflect back in your life and notice some points where you broke through or you broke down before the breakthrough. There was some fatigue there. And after the fatigue, it's almost like your body or the deeper parts of you, maybe the subconscious parts, these inner parts that are harder to kind of identify. They evolve, they grow. You've let go of this emotional pressure. We can see clearly now. We can have that acceptance and gratitude to evolve to the next level. The next paradigm has been opened for you. And when you do that, then there's a sense of strength, of renewal. That's what it means to kind of be like the phoenix, to rise again. And so don't be afraid of the breakdown. It's a part of your growth. It's a part of surrendering. It's part of letting go. It's part of getting out of our own ego and going, I can't figure this all out on my own. This last weekend, I was in Denver, Colorado, and I've been experiencing some anxiety building up. And I've been kind of tuning into it like, damn, what's going on? My normal methods, meditation, prayer, exercise, I noticed it was like they would release the valve, but the pressure would come back up quickly. So I'm like, man, what's up? Something's going on here. And before I went on this trip, I had a series of, call them nightmares, but like dreams that were very emotionally intense, kind of surfacing around some of the challenges I faced. And when I went on my trip, I'm just there trying to have a good time. And one day I'm like, all right, I'm gonna hop on this scooter because I got little like scooters there. I'm gonna head to the zoo. So I hop on the scooty, heading to the zoo, and I feel that energy, that anxiety, and I just start tuning into it. Maybe it's because I was in a different city, maybe some open air. I'm just kind of out in nature, or kind of in nature, I guess. I'm cruising through town and parks and stuff on my scooter, and then I start to feel emotions, and I start to cry and cry and cry. And there's a park close by. I stop, I get off at the park. And I just felt my emotions. Just like, damn, yeah, it's been hard. 99% of the time, I'm rolling. I got positive mindset. And even this moment, it was positive. But even then, sometimes things sneak through, right? We need to see certain things. We need to process certain things. So what are you avoiding processing? What are you still holding on to? What needs to be released? In that moment, that's what I was doing, is I was just releasing the dam, letting go of the flow, letting go of the water, accepting more, and finding more gratitude in everything. Just feeling overwhelmed in that moment. Like I couldn't figure it all out, but I didn't have to figure it all out. It's okay. And then, of course, there came fatigue. The rest of the day, I'm just exhausted. Even into the next day, I'm exhausted. And I'm just very hypersensitive, man. Just felt like crying at any little thing. And I really believe that being vulnerable, allowing yourself to cry, and think of tears, right? It's literally a flow. It's a flowing. So sometimes crying, sometimes yelling, sometimes shaking, sometimes talking. These are all expressions to get emotions out, to get things moving. And so I really believe I was just cleansing. Even sometimes being sick and having the sweats. You ever get that where you have the sweats? I almost think of that as like a toxic release. Just go with it. Let it flow. Let it move through you. Don't fight it. And so I'm having this experience afterwards. I have the fatigue. After the fatigue, I started to have clarity, more clarity, more clarity. And after clarity becomes certainty. And certainty is very powerful because certainty allows you to put force, to put action into things. It allows you to redirect your life. So you're going through something challenging, things aren't working, you can't quite figure it out. When you finally let go, you finally break down to break through, then you have clarity, you start to have precision, and then you can put your actions and your efforts behind that. And that gets you momentum, momentum in the right direction. Because a lot of your challenges, you might be putting the effort, the energy out, but it's in the wrong direction. And that's okay. It's well-meaning, right? But we can kind of adjust or tweak the dial. Remember, we're not looking at a light switch just to fix it. It's not a light switch. It's a tuning of the dial, a tweaking, an adjustment here to tune us in to focus on the right things, the best things for us. And that allows you to break through. So, my friend, I just want to encourage you that whatever you're going through, you'll make it. It'll make you stronger. Sometimes you have to fail your way towards success. Sometimes it seems like the road will never end. But when we look at a topical view of life and ask the bigger questions, who is this allowing me to become? Who is this shaping me into? What parts of me are still underdeveloped and need to be stretched, need to grow? I just made a video about growth. And so I would encourage you to watch that, where I talk about you're in a box. You are the box in a lot of ways. And to actually grow, to transform, requires you to stretch and move outside of the box. And so this might mean this new evolution of you, this new opportunity that's been presented to you is going to take some additional effort, some stretching, some growing. And as you do that, your reality will change over time. It's going to be a beautiful reality. So keep going. I love you so much. Make sure you head over to my website, troyfontana.co. I've got some beautiful information for you there. And also like, share, and subscribe. Until next time, peace.